Heath, nice to see you popping in so quick. Like, how do you do that? You are awesome. How's your trading going, Keith? I mean, it's been a journey. I've been with you the whole way, man. How's everything going with your trading? Hello, Faraz. Shit, no, I didn't. I didn't get a chance for a nap. I would have loved to, though. Had to make an offer on a house that we're for a rental offer. We're looking at. What do they say? No rest for the weary. Weary. No rest for the weary. You can tell that was a poet that wrote that because they don't know how to talk. They only know how to write. No rest for the weary. Jeez, man. I put some rocks in my mouth. All right. Glad to see you guys. The wicked. Maybe that is the other expression. Yeah. No rest for the wicked. Probably, in other languages. Did you ever notice that if you're anyone who's kind of international, you go to another country and they have a tongue twister, right? And they say in their language, it's like really hard to them. And to us, it's like so easy. It's like going tick tock, tickety tock, tickety tock, took tock, But like in their language, that's really hard. They're like tick tock, and then we have a tongue twister and we tell them that and they're like, and it's like comes out no problem. You're like, oh my God. All right. So today was an amazing day on the market, man. What an interesting day. It just held all day. And then once the Fed showed that it was not going to raise rates, that removed a certain amount of uncertainty. But it was more about the indication of the fact that they seem to feel that until 2022, they won't be raising rates. So once they do raise rates, that might accelerate inflation. So there's that whole inflation worry there. But it's sort of like, based on the guidance that was given today, it is still looking like they're not going to be doing anything hardcore to throw an accelerant on what's already happening. But the way they were talking did make it sound like I think that they may have to raise rates maybe in last quarter of this year at some point. So there may not be as much time as we think. Somebody asked, can you explain a little more on quad witching and how it affects Friday afternoon? Oh man, that's complicated. But mostly it will affect just the last 8 minutes of the market, maybe even 20 minutes of the market. And that's Friday, so we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow night. All right. So looking at the day today, we continued to have a holding day until the Fed announcement. And it looked like this, in case you weren't there and you didn't see it. Does that look familiar? Yeah, it looks like a supernova spike, right? Well, that was SPY today. It's all the way up to 398.6 right now. So it almost went to 400 from 393, where it was kind of just holding and holding all day. And we're waiting till that moment at 2:00 when we got the decision would be released, and boom, that candle went right up, and everything went up with it. Tech and everything that you're accustomed to going up went up on that news, because it just meant that inflation was not going to be accelerated. But inflation is still happening naturally. However, the 10-year on that news did go a little bit sideways. Let's take a look at that. TNX. Yeah, there we go. So on that news, it started to go sideways, doom, dun, doom, dun, doom, and then it started to press down a little bit and then make a lower high. So we may see a little bit of a maybe a pullback tomorrow in the 10-year, which is probably going to have the market go ahead and just break right on out of 400 on SPY, 4,000 on SPX. So it'll break out and run a little bit, I believe. If you look at the 10-year rate, however, on like a quite a long chart, maybe 15-day, 10-minute chart, you can really see maybe even more than that. Let's try a 90-day 4-hour chart. There we go. You can see that what happened today, is really just a blip on the inflation that's going on. It's just a little momentary blip, but maybe it'll correct a little bit. It'll go sideways for a while. So we'll see how it develops. But there may be no stopping this inflation with all the money now flooding into the economy through the stimulus check process and through the stimulus bill that was passed and everywhere it's going. So, rates still look like they're in an uptrend, but they kind of went down a little bit today. And tomorrow, the market is likely going to pop up and out. And we have I put on a whole host of positions. We even took one misdirection in one that also went up. We were trying to get puts on. And then in another one, I accidentally got calls instead of puts. And so I was saved by the market gods somehow on that. But overall, we did really good on slapping on some overnights. So we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But drum roll, here we are. VIX closed at 1918. So that's well below 20. And if you look, that's right. If you look in my screen somewhere, who can spot it? Who can spot something in view? That's right. It's champagne time. But what I'd like to do so that you guys have a chance to get ready as well, you guys go ahead and get all of your whatever you want to celebrate with. And here's what I did also. I got myself a nice tart, some Danish brie, and some crackers. And we're going to pop that champagne at the end of the show tonight. So that'll give you some time to go chill a beer if you want, if that's what you like. And then we're going to do it all together on screen, video, like everyone's going to turn on your cameras and you're going to turn on your mics and we're going to go for it. It's going to be awesome. So we'll do that towards the end of the show. Maybe not the very end, but yeah, probably the very end. All right, so hang out because that's going to be fun. All right, so I didn't even get a chance because I was so busy. You remember today, I said I had to go at 3. I had to run out the door, and I didn't even get a chance to kind of recap for the group all our trades today. And so frankly, because it was a long day, I don't really even remember what we traded today. So I need your guys' help. What were a bunch of the things that we traded today? And just give me those symbols and we'll start taking a look at them. Right, TCAT. All right, let's take a look at that. We'll pull that up. So make sure you go to your fridge or whatever and prepare yourself and get yourself ready for your video camera too. Because I do believe we can have up to 32 or 64 video cameras going at the same time in this high-end package that I have with Zoom. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be fun. So go put it in there. Go put your beer in the freezer and get ready. All right. So yeah, TCAT. I don't remember necessarily exactly when we got in, but yeah, TCAT was just awesome. Actually, I think it was towards the beginning of the day. It wasn't down there in the 6s. That was pretty incredible. 6 all the way to 25. Wow. So 25 divided by 6, that's 317% gain. 6 times 3 is 18. No, that must be a 400. Yeah, 417% gain. Daryl flagged us about it around 9:30. Okay. Gee whiz. Well, then we must have just kept pounding on that all day. What were some of the gains you guys got out of that? I know that we just kept grabbing these runs, these rallies, many times. We started looking at around 7. I think that might be right. Yeah, it started to really take off. So I know that some members must have gotten some good stuff out of that. Maybe they're not all here right now. But yeah, we traded TCAT. And we also traded, okay, I remember OCGN. OCG, I mean. OCGN. That's not in play right now. Also the same thing. And this is the non-fungible token plays that are going on right now. And I believe it was it yesterday? Was a down day. So we thought maybe the momentum was over. Oh, no. So this was the first day where these things really took off. 4.6 all the way to 9. And then the next day, it fell all the way back to about 5. So can you imagine if you were the person who bought at 4.6 the previous day, the thing went all the way up to 9, and you're a beginner, you didn't sell, and it goes back to 5, right? And then today it goes, and then what was it? And then today it goes to 11 OCG, goes to 11. Like, dude, I hope whoever that is learned their lesson and sold now that time. If you didn't learn your lesson on that the first time, like they say, the first time is an accident, the second time is a coincidence, and the third time is a pattern. You dumb. So anyway, yeah, we got a double out of that. Oh, Dylan says he got a double out of that. Griffin says, I've heard you say 100 times, once the VIX drops to a certain level, that's 20, below 20, closes at 20, we're popping champagne. But I'm so lost on what that means. Dropping is bad, right? No. Dropping is good on the case of the VIX. VIX is, you could call it the uncertainty index. Oh, okay, Dylan. No, you said double. Did somebody, is somebody renaming themselves again? No, okay. No, you said double. So anyway, all right, let's get back through on this. But yeah, the VIX is the uncertainty index. And as that goes below 20 and into the teens, we enter basically a market nirvana zone where we can just start playing lots of plays, lots of swing plays, 1, 2, 3 day plays, 10-day plays, and we'll see if it holds. You know, there may still be some volatility to spike up as of yet, but we finally did get there. And then so TCAT, OCG, and what was the other one, guys? YVR, correct. YVR popping from 2.5, eventually up to 3.93 and 4.25. Nice. All right, there you go. At 2.69. Oh, you got in at a good price. Nice. And you can see that had you held all along what looked like it was hugging the 200 moving average, that meant that in after hours, you probably should have sold at about 3.59, but it's at 3.68 now. So let's see where it goes tomorrow. Huh? Griffin says, I heard this Friday is going to be big with stimulus hitting and whatnot. With the VIX dropping, it should be a juicy day. Yeah, interesting. It will be very interesting. I think, I know we also took Facebook in the morning. Didn't we not? Yeah, Facebook was running. We got a tip on that from somebody. Pulled up Facebook and we stocked that with, I believe, options. Because today was sideways and Facebook was one of the only things going up, we used that as a hedge. Initially, we grabbed SPY puts for in case the market reaction to the Fed's decision would have been negative. So we got SPY puts, and what was the other put? I think we got another put. And maybe we got ExxonMobil calls. We got SPY puts, ExxonMobil calls, or I think we were shorting something else and going long on Facebook. XLM? That doesn't sound right, but XL something probably. And Tesla. And then we used Tesla as a hedge also. Tesla seemed to be running up like perfectly fine. If I'll pull it up here, I'll show you what I mean. In the beginning of the day, Tesla seemed to have been doing pretty good, as you can see there. And just like Facebook, they were both doing well. So it seemed like even if the market were to pop down, that Tesla and Facebook would be a good hedge against that going the other way, because they were already going up in an uncertain sideways market. So therefore, if we were wrong on our SPY puts, seemed like Tesla and Facebook for sure were going to pop, right? Like if we were wrong on our SPY puts, Facebook, Tesla, we're going to pop. And that's how you hedge. So, and we needed to do that. So in my portfolio, in my day trading account, I put on enough Facebook and Tesla to perfectly equal out the amount of SPY puts and other positions that I had on that were to the downside. So that way, one thing goes the wrong way and you're still safe. They kind of lock each other up and you don't get creamed. So hedging is how you do that. If anybody likes learning, and not everybody, really wants to go down that path of learning all these things. They're very complex. But if you do happen to like what we did today with hedging, you can learn more about that. You could go on Google or YouTube or whatever, and there's books on it as well. And essentially what we did was called short-long hedging, long-short hedging. All right, so what else do we trade today? Remember? All right, Apple puts. That's right, we had Apple puts on. That is correct. Yes, and if the news was bad and SPY was going to drop, it sure as heck looked like Apple was going to go with it, didn't it? Down. It sure as heck looked like that was a really good bet. We took Apple puts and SPY puts, and against that we took Facebook calls and Tesla calls. So they were just sort of like keeping each other at bay. And then whichever way the market went, it was going to give us the opportunity to then just snip off the wrong direction once we got the new direction. And that is what we did. And then it ran. Hedging is important. I do that with calls and puts for SPY. I buy a few weeks out, and then when it drops, sell my puts and leave calls to run. Yeah, there's many different ways to hedge. What's up, everyone? Sorry, I was doing taxes for the daughter. I was getting all my taxes together too today. That's pretty funny. And then we got puts on XLF. As soon as the market started to run, we snipped our puts on SPY, and we kept our Tesla and Apple call, our Tesla and Facebook calls, which went up, and then we put on Boeing calls, GE calls, XLK calls, which is essentially QQQ, CAT calls, Caterpillar, Micron, MU, and then we put on XLF puts and Bank of America puts. And that's where I made my mistake. I got Bank of America calls by accident. And it is crazy. And the guys said in the group, probably that's going to end up being your best position, your biggest gain. And it did turn out to be my biggest gain. $515. Bank of America, how many calls did I get? How many contracts? 25 contracts. Oh, that's just silly. So happy little accident. Yes. That's a bird now. Yeah, cat calls can get you in trouble. Oh, very good one. All right, so the day went just phenomenally well. We handled it pretty well. It was a difficult day. It was an advanced day, but we handled it well, and it did require a lot of capital, and it did require some high frequency trading at times. So it's unfortunate, but in order to make good money in the market, you gotta have money. It's that whole thing. It takes money to make money, right? And man, if you can get together $25,000 or $30,000 for your trading account, it just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to navigate the market than if you have $2,000, $500, $5,000. But on that line, if you need help in any way with figuring out kind of like what you should do and what you should not do, because you have, only a certain amount of money, but you really want to day trade or whatever, but you kind of realize that if you do that, you're going to just, evaporate your account. Send me a private message, and tonight or tomorrow evening or over the weekend, I'll get to it. In the next few days, I'll get to it, and then we can talk, and I can kind of like I'll spend like a couple minutes with you, and we'll figure out, what would be wise. So I'm happy to help you with that. Yep. And then Jason says, don't focus on the dollars though. Just watch the percents. Absolutely. I mean, when we have somebody in the group and they go, I only made $500 on that one. I have no idea if they're insane or rational, because I don't know if they have, a $1,000 account and they're insane for saying $500 is not enough to them, or if they have a $20,000 account and they're calling $500 too small. $500 is still pretty good for a $20,000 account. Yeah, and Brandon mentioned that Percival, another analyst in our group, is going to help people with options tomorrow at noon. So those of you who are part of the VIP program, probably. All right, cool. Let's take a look at what you'd like to take a look at. I'm sure you guys maybe got stuck in some positions. I mean, this was like a rubber band snapping today, and people got trapped. I'm sure a ton of you have questions related to how you may have got trapped in something. Yeah, but Kelly says he made 2% today on his entire account. Yeah, John. So let's have a talk about that. Faraz says, I imagine a lot of us are in Tesla, but look at the market, man. I mean, look at the market in after hours. Like, wow. It just really responded very positively. Of course, this thing always does that. And you look at like maybe SOS or Mara or something like that, and you can see they're just grinding up so pleasantly, or GE. That's a good example. GE, just real nice, smooth grind up. Bitcoin, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm sure you guys are wondering what's going on with that. But, as I said, you want to be in Bitcoin, like last week, a week before that, before the stimulus checks start hitting, because that money's going to get poured into crypto and into the stock market in general. And we're going to see everything inflate. It's going to be pretty easy for Bitcoin to hit 100,000 with the $4 to $16 billion that's about to go into it. It's just going to trade up there. So like right now it's at almost 60,000 and the high was 61,000. So it's already just like right now popping 60,000. So, that's why we got in pretty big for a 3-month play to 100,000 on crypto, Bitcoin, on the back of Bitcoin. So that's, Mara, Riot, SOS, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. That's pretty much that's my concentration there. But yeah, the altcoins are going to pop as well. So you guys, you should really position yourself there. I know there was a pullback a couple days ago, and some of you were really frustrated. Bitcoin was all the way down to 53,000. But what did I say? Last time it pulled back, where did it go? Woo, higher. Last time it pulled back, where did it go? Woo, higher. So, and it's gonna. There's no denying that 4 billion to 16 billion is going to go right into crypto market, and that's just going to trickle its way in and out and over to Bitcoin. And I think Ethereum is a really good play, and they're a really good hold long term. Kelly says, I got my dad in Riot at $53 and he owes me a beer. You got another 2,000 in when it hit 55,000. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I've just been pouring money into it, pouring money into it. All right, what was I going to say? Okay, so yeah, we just checked out Bitcoin, but yeah, let's take a look at like Mara. And in after hours, okay, it closed at 43. Yeah, in after hours, it's still at 43. And then Riot. Okay, there we go. Riot closed at 64. Is that the one you just said you got your dad in? Yeah, he owes you a refrigerator. Look at Deer after hours. All right. Is it bad? Is it good? What do you want me to see? What do we got here? I think I saw this. Yeah, I mean, there was just a couple of ticks, right? Yeah, Deer, yeah, it's doing okay. Maybe you saw something else on your on your Thingly. But yeah, I think Deer and Cat both did well. Wasn't I? Cat today just kept going up. It was insane. Cat did really well. I think some of you day traded that, right, Kelly? I think you we were stalking Cat, and so you're kind of like all over that. Yeah, Cat and Deer. And the interesting thing is, even though they're not going to raise rates, Cat did great, and that's an inflationary stock. So basically, Deer and Cat are just like an unstoppable steam train. Faraz is kicking himself over the Cat. Well, I mean, Faraz, that's been your biggest problem, is you exit things at the smidgens of a sign of problem instead of learning how to hold. Look, I'm just going to teach you right now how you could have held this. So, all right, let's pull this up. So let's say, you got in on Cat and it goes up like this. I don't know. Let's say you got in right here. Well, after that, really, because I want to show you how once the trend is established, then you can actually use it. So you can start to see that, hey, this thing, although it did get weaker and it bounced previously off of the 50 MA when it went up, and it bounced off of the 100 MA. If I'm going to get in this, let's see if it can improve or stick on that 100 MA, right? So you can get in. You can even get in down at the bottom here at the 100 if you know how to do that. You know how to risk that and get in and set your stop losses and everything. And then look, if you just let the 100 MA just sort of cradle it, you would even see here that, hey, this is improving. It's being held by the 50 MA, so the momentum is stronger, and it bounced off the 50, and then it came back and it got held by the 100. And then here, you have to have a little bit of a stop behind there. It touched the 100 because the 100 MA is not a line. Okay, the 100 MA is like a blurry region. That's something that you'll learn over time. And then you could just stayed in the trade on that basis, maybe until here. You might have gotten a little frightened here when it started to come to the 200. But I think probably if you were watching the day, you would have took that as a higher high and a higher low. And you would have said, hey, this is still in trend and still probably is going to be running. And so, you got to zoom back. You got to zoom back like that. All right, cool. Got to do something. Got to do something to kind of like stay in those. But, you can't know that Caterpillar is going to run all day. I mean, look at that. That's just awesome. So smooth. We weren't seeing that in anything else. Apple was red half of the day. So that was pretty nice. You don't always get that. That's about a 1 in 10 chance you pick a stock and it just runs all day. You pick a good stock and it just runs all day. There you go. Lewis really pointed something out, is that you could have sold chunks also in various spots. Like you could have got 10 shares or contracts or whatever you're going to do, 100 shares, and taken out pieces. And where would you have sold chunks? Let me show you. Let's go back. What was it? I don't know why. It was a big long day, but I totally forgot which cat. There we go. And this graph keeps moving on me every like 3 seconds later after I grab it up. So once you had that established trend and you really like got a feeling for it, for the strength of it, you could have known that it was getting quite risky whenever it got this far away. Let me use the line tool. Like this far away from the 50 moving average, or whatever you can use as your measuring stick. Really, you could measure it by the 200. You could say, hey, you know, when things start getting kind of relatively far away, I'm going to start to go into bar by bar mode and scale out a little bit. But the nice thing was, I mean, what Faraz didn't realize is that every pullback resulted in a higher low. So if you were just following the trend and you were just going to wait for a trend break, so that's when a pivot is broken, it never happened. So that would have kept you in all day right there, and you wouldn't even had to scale out. All the pivot highs and pivot lows just kept getting higher every single time. Maybe this one right here, but actually that one's just a little bit higher if you really get in there and analyze it. So technically, unless the stock would have broken one of those points, you can stay in the trade. But once it breaks trend right there, so this is about how you read price action. Once it breaks trend right there, that would have been an exit. That would have been an all out, like just like a total cut. Don't need to risk it from there anymore. But you could certainly have like gone like, whoa, that was a really strong rally, you know, and then just pull it a little bit off. And you just measure this stuff. You go, okay, you know, it runs for about 25 minutes, and then I need to prune. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time I went for 30 minutes, and it was time to prune. And then it came down on you before you got a chance to prune, but right there. Oh, here's another way you could do that. It's a good question. Who asked that question? That was a really good question. Yeah, go get your stuff ready from the fridge. Somebody, Lewis, thank you. Yeah. Look, if you pull out to the 5-minute candle, this is very helpful. Watch this. 5-minute candles. Pull the 5-minute channels up on your chart whenever you want to try this. 5-minute candles. All right, those are the 5-minute candles from today. I'm going to try to make it a little bit bigger. All right. And if you were just tracking the lows, which is whenever the lows continue to go up, you would have certain points in which you noticed that it entered a pullback. So for example, from here, you track these lows, and then boom, right there, you go, you know, we're not holding the upward strength anymore. Because if price negates this entire bar by going below it, that's a reversal. You know, that basically is a reversal point right there. So where did that happen again? So then you had from this pivot bottom, higher low, 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 and then boom, on that next candle right there, you could have known, oh, you know, that rally's over. So that's how you can know, like, when those rallies are over on the 5-minute chart, it's really nice, and you can see it pretty good because it's encapsulating 5 minutes worth of trading, all the different candles going on. So it guides it's like a larger force guiding the short-term traders. You know, scalpers are in there, even like sub-minute taking profits, and then you have minute traders and 2-minute traders, and they're filling in all this liquidity. But the 5-minute bars, like, you know, if you find a pattern in the 5-minute bars like this, like it's running, it's a trend, That's powerful. You know, you can pick a direction and then it goes for 40 minutes. You don't have no for I mean not necessarily. He said if it breaks the higher low, we're all out. Not necessarily unless you only wanted to play those short runs like that. If that's all you wanted to play. But the thing is you'd have to get it on the green candle breaks over red. So you'd have to get it right here at 232.7. And then you'd have to be out higher low right there at 233.8. So yeah, that was $1, but you know, and you were in it for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes that way. So you can do that and you can get those like that. And maybe that would suit you more, Faraz. I don't know. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, maybe you'd like to trade more short term like that. But the thing is, if you're trying to avoid the pattern day trading rule and you have under $25,000 in your account and you're trying to use the options technique that we talk about to avoid the pattern day trading rule that we talk about in our VIP section, well, in that case, you know, you probably want to be following the whole trend itself and waiting for an entire pivot breakdown. So pivot breakdown is when, are you starting to understand? Yeah, is when any of those zigzag points get broken down completely. In fact, you kind of see them if I highlight it like that. None of those points ever broke low. Think of all those pivot points as their own kind of like low, higher low that keeps happening, right? Just like the 5-minute candles that I showed you. But think of them as like a giant, you know, 30-minute candles. Boom, 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 and they keep going up, right? The bottom of those zigzags keeps going up, the bottom. And so that way you can stay in. And the moment that it cracks down on there, that's when the stock flips and it starts trading short. What did we see today that did that? It was TCAT, I think, right? And then it continued, but I think we saw a TCAT flip at one point. Yeah, it was over here and it broke there. That was when I said, hey, that's not good for the stock. Let's see if you guys can see it. So we had this higher low and this high, and this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then this right here was the problem, this moment right here. Once this broke this pivot low, that tells you the things are going to get sketchy. And the stock starts to flip. It starts to flip. And you can't look ahead right now. Don't look ahead. But basically what you're going to see now at that point when it does that is it's going to go, oh, no, we're good, we're good. But that's bullshit. And it can't get above this high. And it starts to come back down and it typically will then make a lower low. And then it will, you know, come back up again and there's VWAP, right? And then it will break through VWAP, making a lower high and a lower low. Did I say higher low? Lower low. And then it's all over. And then it might put in some tricky patterns like an Elliott wave or something like that, where you're seeing some higher highs and higher lows, but that's really a mini trend. It's a smaller trend. It's not of the same magnitude. And then it breaks down on that low again and it continues. So, you know, you got to learn how to do and read price action. Price action happens at different magnitudes and strength levels. Yeah, Faraz, it's going to change everything for you once you really start getting this. Faraz, you know, let's do a private lesson or something this weekend or something. And we can just go over a lot of this stuff and just get you turned into a ninja. Oh, you did? All right, man. You know, because that's probably just a little bit of the secret sauce that's missing for you. All right, it's 8:40. What? Anybody else? What would you like to look at, or other questions you may have? Let me take a look at your questions. I got no questions in the little question asker thing there on TikTok. Do I buy actual Bitcoin or futures? Lewis, I buy the actual Bitcoin. I just have a couple different places where I have some money that can hold Bitcoin. Even Robinhood, I think I have some over on Robinhood. No, over on Robinhood, I don't buy Bitcoin. I buy some of the altcoins, but I am in no way like the Bitcoin aficionado. Percival's very good with Bitcoin. So if you have any like advanced questions for Bitcoin, I always ask him. So you go ask him. But I know charts. I read charts. That's how I know how things are doing good or worth putting money into. And so when I look at the different charts, wherever I can get them, whether it's Binance or whatever I have, what, I might have those Bitcoins over in Coinbase or something. One of the older wallets might be where I could find those lost Bitcoins of mine. I got 12 Bitcoins somewhere. Like, holy crap. Now that it's going to be hitting 100,000, I got to go find those. They're from like almost a decade ago. I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. Please don't remind me, Faraz, you can't figure out where yours are either. Oh my God. What do they call that? Just like phantom, orphaned Bitcoins. I'll bet that's what they call them. There's just, a certain percentage of orphaned Bitcoins that no one can ever find anymore. What did Joanna say? Min. That was so perfect. Only a man would lose Bitcoins. That's hilarious. We're also streaming on Zoom, YouTube, and then over in our Discord. You're going to come into our Discord. You can just click. There you go. The moderator here said, click the link in the bio. You don't see a box. If you go over to my profile page, where it like says a little bit about me, right below that is a link. Just click there. Evan, did you experience Thinkorswim 1 minute chart delay? I sometimes get the heavy chart delay. Not sure if it's my studies causing the delay. I do sometimes get that, but I think it's being caused by our simultaneous Zoom streaming that I'm doing. And then what was the other thing? And then, it could be the studies. You might want to lighten up on your studies. And then I also am looking at, 32 charts at the same time. What did Faraz say? He can't remember his 16 key hash. Yeah, man. I can remember pi 3.14159265385. That's as far as I can remember too. But I can remember that much of pi. I don't know how many digits that is, but it was a lot. And I have 16 key code in a lockbox at a bank. That's a good idea, Kelly. Are you still thinking industrial and financial stocks are good, or are tech good for the next period? Good question, Sam. So we're going to have to see how this develops. I love looking at the charts. I'd like to see how the sectors play out, but inflation isn't stopping, it seems, but we'll see. Maybe it reverses a little. Maybe it has a downtrend period. We'll see. But at the moment, it looks like industrials can still run on inflation, and commodities on inflation, and banks and mortgage and credit on inflation, because inflation seems to be still running. And the Fed even just said, like, they're aware inflation's running, and they understand that it might even go up above 2 before the end of the year, 2%, which in my opinion, I think it could go there really fast, like in 2 months, frankly. So, but they said that they're not really going to do anything about it. They don't feel like they're going to do anything about it. They're just going to watch the numbers, kind of see, when do they feel, all the factors, unemployment, all the different factors come together for them to say, okay, yeah, we're going to raise interest rates. And they seem to indicate that that's going to be in 2022. So they might be pretty accurate about that. They are the experts. I'm over it at this point. I accepted that I would have never held it till 60,000. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to rationalize it. I like that. Oh, man. Is there any way to like crack it or something? Whatever. All right. Now, does anybody get trapped in a position that they want me to look at? or have an interesting question. Oh, here we go. Charlie says, I know that your opinion of tech's long-term is low, long-term, but not necessarily. Tech is going to do great. It's just that leveraged tech is not going to do great. So that means tech with lots of debt, they're going to go into distress. It's just right. Like they're in a trap right now. Think of it as a short squeeze on their entire financial health. Like that's what's going on with these companies. The rates are rising. So they're, like they're getting really nervous. All these companies like, holy crikeys, our, profit margins are going to start to get squeezed if we continue to move like we've been moving. And we're not going to be able to get loans in the future. So how do we adjust for this? We can't refinance because it's going to be at a higher rate. Options are limited. They're going to have to cut their workforce back. They're going to have to close certain R&D wings. They're going to have to shore up the money, in a way that it can be like revenues will still flow in from whatever they had going on, like their current inventions, whatever their things are. And those are going to flow. They're going to continue to bring a cash flow is going to continue. And yet their expenses have to be lessened so then they can pay off that debt before it really turns into something that bankrupts the company. So, this is some of the coolest stuff in finance, when you study it. Joanna has a question about how will inflation affect real estate investment trusts like new NRZ and the real estate is a very difficult one to understand because you have a demand side that's being that's drying up a little bit because of inflation. In other words, some buyers, a percentage of them, whether you believe that's 1% or 15% or 10% of buyers are now not going to be able to qualify for the prices that they thought they could. So on the demand side, price qualification is going down on the demand side, right? It's going to be hard to start bidding it up. And on the supply side, there's a shortage though, so it's sort of like, oil. It's like if there's a shortage, the price goes up, but then if there's a huge demand that drives the price down, or diamonds, right? They put a whole bunch more in the vault, they take them off the market. What is that company that holds all the diamonds? And they play with the supply and demand like that. And it can get messed around with. Well, there's so many forces. There's so many forces with real estate. One of the most difficult ones to ask about. Like somebody asked the other day, with the dollar deflating because we increased the money supply and therefore causing inflation, and then relative to other countries, then that makes the other countries' currency go up in relation to dollar, right? So other countries, even emerging market countries, their currency values are going up on the world stage. Like a certain percentage of nearby neighbors would rather get their loans and stuff now from those countries than the US because of the devaluation issue and the rising inflation here, which is going to continue to, press down. So, but this person said, however, how does the quantitative easing that's going on in those countries, which could be creating money flow expansion and inflation and deflation of their value of their currencies, affect that? Like on the global stage, they asked that, like I was supposed to be able to give a fucking answer. Like you're talking about like genius level, like, what was that guy? Beautiful Mind, like something like that. Like you're telling me to factor the quantitative easing rate of change of every country globally, and then tell you how that's going to strengthen or weaken the US dollar. Like, holy shit, man. That is how real estate is also. So that's what I'm saying, is that real estate's a very multi-factor one and very difficult to gauge. However, you can say this: with rising rates comes increased pressure on the real estate market to perform, and unless they can artificially create a lack of supply to 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 combat the lack of demand that's coming, then you're probably going to see some kind of a bubble pop coming soon. I don't know when, whether it's going to be the end of the summer. Some say in 10 years. Frankly, I think it's coming soon. Maybe the end of the summer. So, I wouldn't buy real estate right now. And that's another thing that's going to happen is some small percentage of people are going to realize that it's a bad idea to even buy right now. And then you might want to rather rent or something like that and wait for the bubble pop and then buy at the bottom. Right? Some people may have bought, 8 months ago. That would have been perfect, right? Because, rates hit really a low rate. So you locked in hopefully like a 30-year rate. That would have been a good idea. And prices of real estate were at their lowest. So, but now, oh my God, it's insane. Yeah, this fellow here says, I work in real estate. There's no need to create a low supply because everyone wants a house. It's crazy right now. Well, the thing you're going to see, like for example, oil, when you see oil go up from, let's say it was $40 to $60 a barrel, if that happened in the course of like 1 week, well, it still takes about 6 weeks before, after the distillation process, and they turn it into unleaded gasoline. It takes about 6 weeks before you actually see at the pumps the price actually start to do that too. It's like this delay. It's very interesting because there's a real world delay going on. Well, that's exactly what happens with the rates in real estate. So the rise that's been going on over the last 6 months in interest rates, they're seeing that in mortgage rates, but they just haven't panicked yet, and yet it's still going to be going up and up and up, because you can see that with the 10-year, there's that delay, and you're going to see mortgage rates be going up to a point where I do believe it's going to, squelch squelch demand. So we'll see. But the nice thing about the summer in real estate is the timing of this is good, because the nice thing about summer in real estate is that's when you have the most supply. Everyone wants to sell in summer. I can only deduce that probably has something to do with, as far as single family homes go, that has something to do with families moving when there's no school and they want to situate. It's probably something that has to do with that. But no, I'm not a real estate expert. So, but I understand what I understand, and I put it together from there, and there you go. Oh, what's this about semiconductors? Chips are in super high demand, right? So like Evan said, if you can find a chip manufacturer with low debt, yeah. And what did we say? I think we had some, right? Here's my lists. We've been making a couple lists. Best industrials. Good debt situation tech, and really bad situation tech. The bad list is pretty short. Who would like to know which tech companies are in really bad shape debt wise? Moving forward, like, you probably want to watch out. It's not going to affect a swing trade, a short trade, a 5-day trade. Maybe you'll be able to pick a range, catch a range, and do a 10 or a 20-day trade. But it is going to affect, how hot that stock runs or doesn't run over the course of the next quarters and then years, right? It's just going to go sideways if not go into distress. It's going to get downgrades as well as analysts start to rework their numbers with the new interest rates. Okay, so the absolute worst ones, there are two of them. That's STX and MCFE. I'm not fully even familiar with those two. But there you go. And then right behind that, but not as bad as those two, but still pretty bad, up in the 40s or 50% in debt, is Netflix, AVGO, Oracle, Fiverr, and eBay. Seagate, STX is Seagate. Yeah, sure. I've used Seagate, oh my God, since I was probably 10 years old, 35 years. Yes, sir. Netflix. Yep. Be careful with Netflix. Watch out. Now, would you like to know which technology stocks have almost zero debt, or maybe just a single digit of debt? In other words, like 9% max, maybe 7%, 5, 3%. All right, here we go. The absolute most well-poised, debt-free tech company is CRWD. What is that? CrowdStrike? CRWD. That'll be like number one, cleanest. And now there's a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry. Also, SLP. That's also super duper. SLP. Yeah. And now there's about 10 others that are in pretty damn good shape. They may be at like 3% to 7%, something like that. And they are, here we go, AMD, Facebook, Google, CRM, EA, TTWO, Twilio, TWLO, so Twilio or Twilio or something like that, and Align, ALGN, or I don't know what that one is. Now, in third place, but still single digits, but probably behind those, still single digit, is Cisco. Not super duper well poised, but still okay. ATVI, Activision, Intuit, INTU. I don't know what the SLP. I think SLP is a semiconductor. Peloton. So actually, Peloton has the right philosophy moving forward. These companies, they need to have this debt-free philosophy to be able to go through these tough times. Sony, SNE, and Roku, ROKU. So that's interesting, right? Very interesting. And then we have some really cool lists. But anyway, that's our show. We are coming up on the end of the show now. Everybody go to your fridges and go get your drinks. I'm going to switch it over to, I'll post them. I'm going to switch it over to be able to show all of you. I'm not sure how that works. We go to like gallery mode or something. Show grid view. Okay, here we go. Let me just get it all set up first, and then we'll do this. This is going to be fun. And basically, probably once I turn it on, there's going to be a limit of about 32 or 64 of you who can join us on this. And then we'll do it. We'll cheers together. First thing I'm going to do while you guys are getting everything ready, while you're going to get your beer out of the fridge, or if you have wine or champagne or tequila, if you're going to do a shot, whatever it is. Actually, I should have got some tequila, man. That would have been good too. But champagne seems appropriate. It took a year to get here. All right, so give me a sec to open up this Danish Brie. Yep, Brie is this. No, actually, Camembert would have been the smelly one. This one doesn't smell. But I like those. I mean, they smell, but they taste great. I spent many summers in France. In the south of France near Poitiers. All right. I love stinky cheese, somebody says. So yeah, I'm looking at having a little bit of this after we pour the champagne. So as you can see, I am prepared. Whereas yesterday I wasn't prepared, today I am prepared. It almost got away from us. It almost got away from us, but the market went the right way. All right, we're getting some cheers over on TikTok. Way to go. Isn't there a way to like cause somebody to kind of like go live with you? Manage. Nah, I think, isn't there a way on TikTok Live to like add somebody live? Like they're an interviewer? Flip camera, comment. Now, I guess I just can't do that yet. That's cool. I'm getting a lot of different other features there I never noticed. Cheers, cheers. All right, so check it out. It's right over here. Check out this bottle, man. This is insane. Okay, I'm going to turn you guys on. Oh, look at this thing, man. I love this. It looks right off of a pirate ship. Is that not awesome or what? All right, is everybody ready? Let's let me see if I can get that a little bit more in view. And you know what? I'm going to put my Stream Deck in a little bit of a safer spot. By the way, I think that I haven't been able to share that a lot because it was too bright. Here, check it out. Now you'll be able to pretty well see my Stream Deck keys. If I can get that turned right. So you can see if, you know, that's how you make your money. Oh, I love it, man. I love it, Parker. Yeah. Do you have one? Like, yeah, I love it. I guess they're pretty popular. You know, it's funny because I just simply, this was just my idea. And then when I did it, I found out that a lot of other traders did it. But I'm just, what is the word? I'm resourceful like that or whatever. You know, I figure my way out of situations. I engineer my way out of situations. I'm like, you know what? There must be some kind of a keypad thing where I can create a custom key, and who knows, maybe it has LCD little windows on it, and so I can make a custom, you know, little icon on it, and you know, sure enough, and then I find the thing and I put it together, and then once I do that, I started looking at like Stream Deck tutorials online, and I'm like, oh my God, a lot of traders use this Stream Deck. So I think it's just, you know, it's an intuitive, smart thing to do that everybody wants to do Stream Deck. All right, here we go. I'm going to start to allow to turn on video. So we'll start there, and then we'll unmute. So anybody who has a video camera, let's see if it starts to work. There we go. Hello, Joanna. All right. All right, we're getting everybody on. This is bitching. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I think if I do that, it'll record us all better. That'll be great for posterity. I'm going to unmute you guys in a minute, but hold on. This is totally radical. Oh, we got we have somebody with a mask on. That's pretty awesome. All right, I'm going to unmute you guys in just a second. Let me get this set up a little more. All right. Woo, yes. Okay. But now let me see if over on, oh, how do we, there we go. It's working. All right. So everybody on YouTube, you guys, you can go get your drinks ready as well. Gallery. All right. So we have that many of you. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to be able to unmute you guys. I'm going to turn you down a little bit because I know it's going to get really loud. It's probably going to, you're probably going to piss yourselves off with the mic situation. All right, where the hell do I do that anyway? I'm supposed to be able to say allow. There we go. Allow to unmute. There you go. All right. We're in. Now, you guys can unmute whoever wants to.
Go SO.
How you doing? Here we are. So I probably should move my keyboard too. That's awesome. We need some music. Who's got music?
I listened to some jazz today.
Oh, awesome. For the first time or what?
Yeah.
Nice. And what did you think?
Oh, he's great. He's very intense, very good at what he does.
Very intense. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, he's one of the more intense ones. Probably a little like me. I mean,
very much
notice that sometimes I can get pretty serious. But
Well, as it
you know,
should
over
be when
time
you're
I've
dealing with
learned
money.
you gotta loosen up a little too. I like the Aurora Borealis, Dylan. That's awesome. All right, cool. God, should I shake it? This bottle is so awesome. All
I think you're gonna have a mess if you shake it.
right, I got the glass right here. There we go. Probably it's not going to pop the moment I undo this thing. It never does. Where is it going to get the best view? Right here. And let me scoot over here. No, more like this. Okay. All
Don't hurt
right.
yourself.
It's all right. I'm prepared to break a leg or anything that happens here. All right. Cheers to the VIX closing below 20 after a goddamn pandemic. Here we go. All right. Oh, it smells good. Mm. Oh, look at that gorgeous. Oops. Look at that gorgeous champagne.
That's better than the whiskey I'm drinking.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers
Cheers,
I'm
guys.
jealous.
Cheers.
to the VIX.
The VIX. We got wine bottle over there. To the VIX. From here it should be smooth sailing. Awesome. What is somebody says, what does that mean? What are all these stock traders with gamer chairs cheering to a what kind of insect? Who wants the cork, man?
Cheers,
This is
you guys.
like a historic cork, right?
I'll take it.
Shogo's like, what happened? Where's my what do they call that? The rice wine? Yeah, unmute yourself, Shogo. Yeah. Hey,
It's
Jordan.
called
nice to see you
sake.
guys.
It's called sake, man.
Oh God, that's good. All right, now I'm going to add a little tart to my toast. Let's see here.
Evan will send my address. Send me the
Gotta do
court.
the ASMR version. Mm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I should have a lobster sitting here. We've been waiting for so long for this. And then, yep, I
You
will
worked hard
have.
today, Evan.
I think I will have a piece of brie. Yeah. Thank you. Don't mind if I do.
Send the court, Evan.
Yeah, I think I can feel the champagne talking already.
I can't even explain it to myself, except that apparently people are
Mm.
talking. One
So I gotta ask you,
when you terminate it,
have you met Miles Davis?
go crazy again.
I have to ask that.
Have I met him? Yes, I did.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah, when I
Wow.
was, I met him. I may have met him even another few times when I was even so young that I don't remember.
Well, I got a
But
this,
when I was 9, I met him, and
potential.
he was like in a daze. So that's the way he was because he was on cocaine all the time. I didn't know that, but
It's just potential.
that's the way he was. So when we went backstage
Yeah.
and I sat down with him in his
That was
really
despite-
darkened
lucky enough, I was
room,
on
he
the
kept his room dark because the cocaine, you know,
No,
your eyes dilate.
that would include what
So it was really dark. And
Um,
I'm talking to him, and because of his voice, if you know Miles Davis's voice, you know, he just basically never talked. And he had a way of just, he was like the Rodney Dangerfield of jazz, you know, he like had a way of just saying like just a couple of words, you know. So I said, you know, we were talking about something, and somebody was talking about how Miles Davis had worked with Bill Evans, my dad, and then after that, and then during a similar period, Gil Evans, which is an arranger, and then after that, a sax player named Bill Evans, and they were all really huge landscape changing parts of his group. So we were talking about the fact that he had worked with so many Evans, and he said, "Those fucking Evans."
Oh my. We
And
say
he
that
meant
all
it in the
time.
best way. That was the biggest compliment from him, you know, like those fucking Evans, like, God damn.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, when
that was
you-
the feeling. It was
When
a
you
really
mentioned
nice
that,
thing to say.
that blew my mind. You absolutely blew my mind today. My jaw was on the floor because, like, I want to say 6 months ago, the jazz professor at my school was talking to my dad and like Miles Davis. And when you said, I was, what? That's so crazy. That's insane.
Shogo, how about you? Have you heard of my dad?
Yeah, not about your dad, but yeah, I heard about Miles Davis. I
Oh, for
remember.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Very nice.
Also
That's
played with,
some of my dad's influence. He used to listen a lot of rock, jazz, and I acquired that part from him, right?
cool. You know, so like a lot. I get asked a lot by people in the music industry. So are you in jazz? You know, it just makes sense to them. You know, and but no, like what I tell them is that, can you imagine like the best at something, if that were to get passed on to your child and it had to compete with the father, it would be anti-Darwinian. So that's my own like scientific reasoning for why basically that gene just shut off and like, or it got pushed over to something else. And for me, it was film scoring. That was my biggest dream in my whole life.
Evan, didn't you play the trumpet before?
That's right. How'd you know that? Yes.
You've mentioned it.
I mentioned it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. And
So you just,
interesting thing
just
is
didn't
that,
stick with it, right?
Who's saying that? I didn't stick with it.
Yeah.
Well, I semi did, but the thing was, and I had some pretty amazing trumpets, like the collection, you know. The thing was, maybe 10 years ago, no, maybe even like 7 years ago, computer simulated trumpet got to the point, it got so good, it got to this in exceptional point that with your computer, you could play a acoustic physical modeled trumpet to the point where you could control everything: lip armature, the size of the mouth, the whole deal, the bore, all that. It was so good that I literally sold all my trumpets, because now I'm able to just control that with my computer and have a fully, I can edit, now I can, want that to go down a little bit there, a little bit up there.
Have you ever noticed that the military uses electronic trumpets at ceremonies because it will play the cadence correctly?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fair anymore. That's funny. You can have robots marching.
That's right.
Hey, Camille. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
My wife, Kylie.
Hi. Nice to meet you. I thought all this time Camille was a girl.
Oh, did you?
But I don't know. I don't know every name on this planet.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm Polish, so I get the common Polish name,
Oh, got it. All right, cool. And Keith,
Yeah,
he's
my
out in
son's
Hawaii
name is
right
Evan,
now.
Yeah, and my son's name is Evan, and your daughter's name is Camila, right? So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good coincidence, I thought.
That's right. And there's Faraz. How you doing? All right. Your mic isn't even working when it got unmuted, unfortunately, but okay. You look shy enough.
Oh, you're on vacation.
What's that?
Faraz is on vacation. Whoever was speaking last there, his background.
I wonder if we're not even seeing some.
That was
people.
Keith.
Let's see.
Oh, Keith.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's been great. So, man, let's see if we can continue to do it tomorrow. So just while we're talking here, now maybe you can just tell me like how you did today. Maybe some of you paper traded, real traded. Yeah. Crazy day.
I'll go first, I guess. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started off with going about minus 550 through some spreads and calls, didn't cut my position soon enough, but just a slow climb back, taking small wins the whole time. Obviously I'm kicking myself for that cat play, but just a slow climb. I took 100, 200 bucks here and there, and I actually ended the day off with 150 plus. So it was
It's going to be
good.
so cool, dude. I will probably pop another bottle of champagne the day
Wow.
you stay in a trade from the opening of the market to the end of the market.
And I used to be good at it. I used to be good at holding, but not anymore.
I
After I
think that's
met,
going to take a year for you to achieve.
yeah.
Evan, overall, do you think the majority of retail investors lost money today?
The whole 9 yards.
Well, I made a lot of money, and I suppose that's where it came from.
Yeah, you took it from someone.
I mean,
I don't.
it is a little bit like that. We were a little bit more advanced than the other guy, and that's how we made our money.
That one out.
We were a couple of steps ahead above the other guys.
Right.
But
You're
there are
not
people who
producing
are
it.
many steps ahead of us, of course.
Sure. Well, I ended up making money instead of losing money, so that was a good to follow your lead on that.
Excellent.
Yeah, you still.
Yeah, thank you, Evan, for taking the time out of your day to do this for us all. I appreciate it.
Ah, man, yeah, you're welcome. I mean,
Enjoy
me too.
learning.
you're
Me
totally
too.
welcome.
Thank you.
Man, imagine if we could
Yeah,
actually be all together. So maybe we'll do some kind of a summit or a seminar or something when it's possible,
Trader seminar. That sounds cool.
Mhm. Yeah. In Miami, I'm sure.
Miami.
Yeah.
I think
Las
before everyone
Vegas.
leaves,
Yes,
we should have
please.
another toast to Evans at
Little
least.
Vegas convention.
To the man himself, we should have another toast before we leave. To Evans, I think that would be the best thing.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. So I think on like the count of 3, if we all want to raise a toast to Evans, that'd be the best thing
Hey.
to do.
Sounds good to me.
Hey guys.
Toast
Give
to
you
Evan.
much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Toast to Evans.
I don't drink.
Cheers.
Toast to Evans.
Guns
Thank
up, Evan.
That's for you, man.
To money.
Name my
That's what I
kid
want.
after you.
To money.
To money.
Cheers, man.
It's a
Cheers,
money.
guys.
Evan equals
Yeah,
money.
to a profit.
Evan
Chicken
equals money.
tendy.
Yeah. So cheers to Evan, man. Thank you. You're
Good
awesome.
night, Camille. Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evan.
Parker.
Thank you,
Good night,
Evan.
Thank you, Evan.
Bye.
You're awesome, man.